Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. All right, so hopping on to our G20 hop-on, hop-off bus is former diplomat SK Tayal and his beautiful wife. Ma'am, you're looking lovely. Geeta, over to you. Want to talk some shop with the diplomat on what we're expecting, or the former diplomat on what we're expecting? What would be the biggest takeaways?
Well, there are important takeaways, Preeti, when it comes to the agenda. It's a whole bunch of ideas that will be concretized by the leaders when they meet on the 9th and 10th. But, Ambassador Tayal, the fact that there is going to be no consensus document owing to the Russia-Ukraine war, as also China's various objections. How do you see that? What's your reading on it? Is that the host country's failure, or the fact that the politics today does not allow any host country to take the onus of a consensus document on it?
It is most certainly not host country's failure, because these are the currents of world history and international relations, etc. And we must never forget that G20 is really for economic issues, for the bread and butter issues, for developmental issues. It is not for political issues. So if Ukraine is not being discussed, or if there are no paras on Ukraine, or there is no consensus on, I think we should not bother about that at all. And we should go back to the basics, as they say.
India hosting the G20, or being this year's India's presidency, and the way we've done it, at least in terms of welcome, the grandeur, the security arrangements, it looks fabulous, and it looks like and shows India's growing presence globally. Do you think any on that front will influence a decision or a debate on India's side, or in India's favor?
I would say that India has raised the profile of G20 globally. And as we were in Korea, there was hardly any activity there when the G20 happened there. In US, nobody cares if there is G20 or not. So the expectations are also high, and hope that there is some good outcome. And ultimately, it will raise profile of India globally, even that Global South Summit. And I think the entire exercise has been planned with meticulous detail. What all is achievable politically, domestically and internationally.
Your stop is coming in, but thank you, ma'am and sir, for joining us. We're going to we're going to drop you off on the next stop right there, and we're going to chug along further. Well, not chug along, but drive along further very comfortably at that. But thank you. All right, other than just the preparations of G20, the mammoth security at play. For those who are coming, what are we offering, Geeta, in terms of just, the spread?
Well, a lot of vegetarian food. Preeti, there's going to be a lot of variety of Indian...
No non-vegetarian?
Vegetarian food.
Is there an option like a side card if you want?
Nothing.
No,
Nothing?
No. Not even a chicken tikka?
Nothing.
But why?
So we've been told that it's all vegetarian. Certainly no alcohol will be served.
But why?
But this is the first time. We've done many summits. I've covered many summits, Preeti. For foreign delegations especially, who their mainstay in terms of food is their staple diet is meat. So it will be surprising, but also there's a change. There's a lot of millet. So G20 has millet as an agenda. Right. So that they're trying to showcase millets. So there's going to be different kinds.
I was reading, Nabila, there's millet sushi.
Recipes.
Yeah, there's millet sushi.
Yeah, and jawar
rotis. Noodles?
Jawar noodles and some millet sushi. I don't know what millet it is.
Golgappas, ragi roti. You have almost every Indian dish from every part of the country, the south to the north, all in the form of millets that's going to be served to them.
When you're doing a bilateral, it's different. Yeah. When you're doing a multilateral and you have so many delegates coming in, so many people from the press corps coming in, they'd expect food from their country.
Right.
In fact, when we do G20 summits anywhere else, they actually have country-specific
so you do have
food.
A counter where Indian food is served.
Indian food. You have Chinese, because they know that the Chinese, the Japanese are not comfortable eating. It does not suit their palate, so they will taste But if they want to have a wholesome meal, they'll go to their counter.
Right. Okay. So, fine, dampener, there is no non-vegetarian and there'll be a lot of states disappointed because we could have used this opportunity to promote and showcase, our non-vegetarian cuisine as well. For many, they might be disappointed because there might not be a glass of wine or a glass of anything other than
But
water
there are
and
Golgappas.
mocktails, right?
I think that's a
There are
takeover for
Golgappas.
anyone.
Right. So there is no alcohol, but there's going to be plenty of other stuff to keep most of the delegates that have come well satiated.